I want you to take a moment, comment below whether you are a family with human children or whether you are a fur fam, or are you a combo of both?
The Corey family decided to have dogs instead of kids. And in today's day and age, society often frowns upon that, and they act like there's something wrong if you don't have kids.
Joel Beckman recently was discussing on his podcast about training your dogs and people without kids and their ability to be good trainers or leaders.
Joel is so passionate about this, like, you have to have kids thing. Like,
you do.
At the detriment of his entire life. He's like, I don't care. Like, I will die on this hill.
I will. I posted that years ago somewhere on Facebook. I said, like, you can't be a great dog trainer without kids. It was pretty blunt, I admit, but people are like, what? It's kind of true. Like, I think even for life, like, there's other things that you really just don't get without kids. Like, there's big chunks of life you just don't understand.
Same.
You know who's a great dog trainer and a great person without children?
Not Caesar.
Jason Corey.
He doesn't have kids?
No. So I will take that back, because he is an example of something different. So I guess I'll take that back to a degree.
It's not necessarily what we're diving into today, but that made Jason and I think about just discussing us as a family with dogs and without kids, and why we went about that.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. We're still a family. Everybody's like, when are you going to start a family? It's like, well, we are a family. The moment we got married, we're a family. Even before that, we're a family.
Yeah, I think this is an important topic to discuss, especially as a woman. I know anytime I post things about this, I'm getting other women who maybe relate or feel those societal pressures that thank me for at least openly discussing it.
Parts of society will put you down for it.
Absolutely.
Didn't the doctor put you down?
Oh yeah, years ago, I remember going to the doctor, just a regular checkup, and he had said, you know, oh, are you planning on having kids? And at that time, I think Jason and I were still kind of undecided, but more so leaning no. And I had told him, no, we don't have kids, and I don't think we're planning on it. And he immediately was taken aback, and he literally stepped back and was like, well, how are you not gonna have kids? And I looked at him like, what do you mean, how am I not gonna have kids? Well, who's gonna take care of you when you're older? And I'm like, bro.
You shouldn't even expect your children to take care of you when you're older.
And that's something I've heard from many people with kids. They're like, have kids or not, it's your decision, but don't ever go into having kids with that purpose, to have kids just to take care of you when you're older. That shouldn't be the expectation.
And actually, Joel mentioned something great, which I agree with on this podcast, that unless you have kids, there's certain aspects of life you're not going to understand.
Fully agree with that.
And to counter that, being an adult, married, without kids, you're never going to understand certain aspects that we understand in life.
For sure.
Because we don't have kids.
Yeah, that's what makes the world, I think, so special, is that there are different types of people and we make different life choices. So I never really understood the need to force your own beliefs on someone else just because you're not doing what they're doing.
Now, we have 2 dogs, and we always say our dogs are our kids. No, they're not kids. We understand that. So I have to clarify with you guys, we don't treat them like children.
Correct.
We are very militant in how we work with them, how we train them, how we treat them. Everything is earned, not given with these guys.
Right.
For example, Bruce is great off-leash. I had him on an off-leash walk. I had my leash in hand, but the whole entire time yesterday, because he earned that right.
Yeah.
He earned it through showing respect, through his actions over time, through his reliability. So why did we not have kids? And there's numerous, I think we should talk about this really quick.
Yeah, we might as well, just so your audience knows.
Now, it was kind of like like she said, we didn't know for a very long time. Even now, it's like, man, if I was rich, it would be cool to have a kid.
Same. I'm like, for me, I mean, it's not like, I don't know, it's one of those things that, at least for both of us, I think we were always on the same page that we didn't know. We didn't know. We went into this marriage saying, both of us were like, we're not sure if we want to have kids or not, and we were okay with that. And then throughout the years, both of us just never really got to that place where that became our priority. And I know as a female, the older you get, that clock is ticking, so it was definitely something I thought more about and we discussed more. And I think with Jason's health issues.
That was a big part of it.
And I think it's just overwhelming everything that you have to prioritize for yourself. The thought of you have to change your life and live for someone else when you have a child. Like your entire life changes, right? So I think it was just something that, being realistic about it, we didn't know if it made the most sense.
Yep, it didn't.
Also, it wasn't until this past year that I recently, you know, changed my job and kind of started focusing on my career in a different way. So Jason and I have also been more career focused. It's not to say we're not family focused
And it's
people.
not to say that you can't be career focused as a child.
Correct, absolutely not. But I think just where, like our timeline of where we've been at in life didn't necessarily align with having kids.
Because we're still not where we want to be.
Correct.
Financially or career-wise.
Yeah.
And, you know, having a child, you can still get there, but obviously that takes priority above everything. If you have a child, your child is number one, everything is below that.
For sure.
So that was basically why we didn't have kids.
Yeah.
But these dogs, having dogs and not having kids has really enriched our lives, our marriage. Especially since Kara quit a year ago her job and now she's doing her own thing at home. This past year has been like the best year of my life. I've got to spend like so much time with my wife, my best friend, who even out of it's 25 years this May we've been together.
We're only 26 years old, by the way.
and like I still want to hang out with her more than anybody in the world.
Yeah, me too.
And having dogs gives us another opportunity to work on something together, on their training, having to be on the same page, so we connect on a different level. Because we have to be on the same page when we're training the dogs.
Right.
And Bruce Wayne, why are you slobbering on me, bro? You normally don't slobber. That's gross.
Another thing that I think maybe sometimes people fail to realize, as a woman, I am someone that it's important for me, and I'm sure you feel this way too, Jason, but I'm just speaking on behalf of your women audience here. There's like this need to be a caretaker and fulfill the motherly instincts. For many of us, I think instinctually that's within us, and that's where sometimes people look at me and they're like, why wouldn't you want to have kids, you know? For me, these dogs in particular,
how human-like they are.
How human-like they are, understanding they are dogs, they're not children, but they do fulfill a lot of that caretaker motherly instinct in me that I don't necessarily feel like I'm missing out on something in life. I feel that I get to practice that with these two, with taking care of them. I think we take care of them on another level than a lot of people take care of their dogs with how they treat them.
Which I also think goes to why they're so well trained.
True. And we have that.
Because training goes beyond just like your obedience drills. It's how you're interacting with your dog at every moment of the day.
And we are able to prioritize them in that way because we don't have children.
Yes.
Like as a different way of thinking about it, that you gain so much experience with raising children. Without having children, that we have to prioritize, it allows us to really focus on our leadership with these guys and just really giving them what we feel is the best life for them possible, and also fostering that family dynamic. And I know it's not the norm. We get looks all the time like, why are these people taking their dogs everywhere? Some people get it and some people don't, and that's okay. I think we need to normalize not having to have this timeline, this expectation of what a family looks like or what we should be doing as humans in our lives.
Yes, it's, you know, everybody's path is different. Everybody's timeline in life is different.
Right.
You know, don't rush things you're not ready for.
Right. Don't
bend to society because if you don't want something like children, for example. I mean, when we got married, all it was when you're having kids, when you're having kids, when you're having kids. And,
oh, God.
And it was almost like pushing me away, not wanting kids. It's like, I don't want kids. So leave me alone.
If I gained 2 pounds at work, people would be like, you're glowing today. Are you pregnant? And I just found it so rude. And not even from like, oh, are you implying I'm fat or gain weight? Just implying that that's what I should be doing at this moment in time when Jason and I had just gotten married. We were in an apartment, still figuring out our life, still struggling to pay bills. We were both just trying to be responsible, and for us, that didn't make sense at that point in time. Oh man, he's done. For us not having kids, with how these dogs are so ingrained as part of our family, I think it will make loss harder.
That's why I've also kind of like
come to terms with it.
And do you guys grieve your dog before? You just look at your dog and start grieving them before they even pass.
Like, do you look at them and cry?
Like I realized how common it was.
No, it actually is.
And I have a whole video on it. I've done like a really good Instagram reel on it on how I decided to change my mindset, because it's going to happen. If he was to die today, I'm going to wake up tomorrow feeling blessed that I get to spend 7 years with this guy.
Yeah.
With this incredible dog that changed my life. And just changed my life in a lot of different ways. Not just like YouTube, but you know how he changed our life before YouTube.
He made us different humans.
Yes. But this is before we even started doing like the YouTube stuff.
It has nothing to do with YouTube.
And it was, so I'm going to wake up instead of, obviously I'm going to be sad.
Yeah.
But but I'm not going to let it break me. I'm not going to let it shut me down. I'm not going to let it like ruin my relationship with my wife and shut me down. It's like, wow, I get to spend all this awesome time. I have all these awesome memories.
Yeah.
That none of y'all have in person.
Yeah.
That I get to have with him.
I feel like it would be a disservice
I feel special.
to him.
Yeah, do a disservice. So instead of what am I going to do without Bruce? What am I going to do without Justice? What am I going to do that I had them? What lessons I'm going to take away in life?
Right.
You have to change your mindset because your dog's going to pass.
Yeah, I think there are actually a lot of people that don't come to terms with the fact that they are going to lose their dog. In a perfect world, you do lose your dog before you pass away, right?
Yep.
Like that's how things are going to work. So you kind of do need to come back to reality a bit, even if you are the weird dog family like Jason and myself, and treat your dogs like part of the family. You do still need to kind of maintain that realistic point of view that they are your dogs and they will likely pass before you. So you have to be okay with that.
And having dogs and not kids, like, that's why we do a lot of outings with them.
Yeah.
We do things with them.
Correct.
Like, instead of leaving them home because we don't have kids to bring with us.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it really allows us to enrich their lives, and nothing's right or wrong with what path you choose in life. It's just, this is sharing what we've chose to do, and we do feel satisfied with that. And I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. Honestly, the only thing that breaks my heart, and I can't change that, is not giving both of our parents a grandchild. Like, that saddens me, but I do understand that it's our lives. It's my life, and it's not really fair to also put that pressure on children to have grandkids. Yeah. I know it. I also want to throw out there too, I do understand culturally it may be different. There may be different expectations based on your culture with what you are expected to do. Doesn't necessarily mean I agree with it, but I just want to put that out there because I do understand like a lot of different people watch your channel, and there are different cultural expectations, depending on your background, that you are expected to have kids and you are expected to take care of your elders. That isn't the culture Jason and I were necessarily from, but like, I understand that is something that's out there, and I want to acknowledge it too. And
I can see where if somebody doesn't have kids, especially females, because of their nurturing care, how they screw up dogs bad because they treat them like kids. Yeah, that's true. They're like baby talking them all the time. Yeah, they're like sleeping with them all the time in the same bed, and it just creates this weird relationship. Yeah, or especially a breed like this that's protective. Yeah. And then it starts resource guarding. For sure. Yeah, that's something I had to be very cognizant about, of course. And even now, like, my need to kind of withhold a little bit of how much I just want to do the lovey-dovey voice and like, I'm always there to remind and hug them literally 24/7. I mean, I would honestly swear on my life, I would get nothing done if I just gave these dogs all the love that I want to give them. It would be a pile of us on the floor rolling around all day long, as weird as that sounds. That sounds creepy, actually. It does sound creepy, but that's the love I have to give. Like, not in a weird way. I love this family so much. But yeah, you do have to have that separation a bit too. You do. Even though they are our family, right? So it's that balance for us of understanding that this is a family, and I will fight you if you say it's not a family. And even without these two, we're a family. We're a family, and even before we're married, we're a family. I like family doesn't have to have like a legal document behind it. Family doesn't have to have like blood in the same mix. I agree. There's a lot of people's family. I'm like, you need to cut your family off because they're treating you horrific. For sure. And we know somebody mutually, and their family treats her horrible.
Yep.
And she's like, that's my family. I'm like, they're not treating you like family.
Right.
You know, these other people around you that love you and supporting you, your boyfriend, that's your family.
Right.
They're the ones who care about you.
Right.
These guys care about us. They're a family.
Correct.
You know?
Yeah, I think it's important to have more of these conversations and normalizing this stuff, because you do see so frequently too online the perfect families, the perfect moms, the perfect Instagram moms showing their kids and their life is all perfect too. And a lot of that is glamorized. People
Yes.
glamorize having kids too. Not saying having kids is bad. Let me just make sure that's clear. But there's a lot of glamorizing of how amazing it is to have kids, and your life is just perfect and polished and it's bows and it's
for
cute
some people
outfits.
it is, and some people it's not.
For some, yeah,
And
for some it
I've
isn't,
known
for some
people
it
like,
isn't.
you know, I love my kid to death, but if I could go back, I wouldn't have kids.
Right.
And like, and they're always like, I love my kid though, and like, no,
For
I
sure.
get that, but I understand what you're saying.
Or you get the people
it
that
wasn't
are
what
like,
it wasn't the life you're expecting.
or you get the people that are like, I love my kids, but I understand why you guys didn't, like, I totally respect you guys not having kids.
Yeah. And not having kids gives us more freedom.
For
like
sure.
we can pick up and we can move down south if we want. You know,
And that's
I
something
mean, with
that's-
dogs, you know, it's a little bit more to consider when, you
Yeah.
know, because you still have to go traveling, you have to have people watch
Yeah.
your dogs, that type of thing. But it allows us a lot more freedom in life.
It does.
Especially with what she does, a ton of traveling with all of the different things she does. And instead of having a child where she can't go, she can just get up and, you know, a day's notice. She's like, I need to go to Texas tomorrow. I'm like, cool. You know,
Yeah.
I'm down. I gotta hold down the fort, you know?
Which kind of like also speaks to a point we should bring up when people say not having kids is selfish. What do you think about that?
Okay.
What do you think about that when people say not having kids is selfish?
I don't think it's selfish. It's my life.
Right.
And like, if it is selfish, then so what?
I feel like it'd be
Like, I'm selfish with my time. Like, I want to be with you.
right.
You
I
know?
feel like it'd be selfish to not consider those things. Like,
I think it's selfish like, if you don't want kids to have a kid.
Right.
Because now it's, I don't know, it's weird. It's not selfish. It's
just-
living your life how you want.
that's something that I see a lot of comments on online. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because I see more accounts focused on like women without kids or families without kids. And that is a common comment that I personally see, because I do seek out those those accounts just because I do feel like, you know, being a woman at this age and not having children, it's hard to relate to other people in the same age group as me because no one has the same dynamic. And sometimes that is the one commonality people have as children. So I see that comment a lot where the people with kids are like, well, that's just selfish. And I don't necessarily agree with that either. I think it would be selfish of me to have kids just because other people want me to have kids.
Yeah,
I feel like it would be unauthentic to living my life. And I mean, we do only have one life to live. And I feel like at the end of the day, you should be doing the things that make yourself happy, whether it's having kids or not, or having a bunch of dogs or having a farm. Like, I think
Whatever you want.
I
I feel like that's one thing I've done in life is just always lived by how I wanted to.
oh, absolutely.
No matter the peer pressure.
Absolutely.
I've never touched alcohol in my life, all through college, all through high school, you know, the weird kid that won't drink, that won't go to
Yep.
parties.
Yep.
I'm like, I don't care. I'm doing my own thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what I feel is right for me, what makes me happy.
You've always been so strong in who you are and knowing your own values and what's important to you that you've never faltered with that. And it also speaks to like, if people are around you like having alcohol or doing whatever it is they want to do, you don't care. Like you've never judged
do you,
anyone
bro.
else. You're always just so strong in your own self-beliefs. I've definitely learned a lot because of you and grown because of you and seeing that instilled in you at such a young age.
Well, I appreciate that. If you made it this far in the video, I'd really appreciate if you subscribe to the channel and let me know if you just like these conversational videos. That's
Yeah.
really what it was. It didn't really
Yeah.
have a specific topic. It had a general topic and we just wanted to kind of talk things through together.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hopefully, if anything, if someone relates, they feel less alone. I know that was important for me as I was struggling as a woman to decide whether or not we
Yeah.
wanted kids, and it was hard to you look to reach to people who maybe have similar points of view to help you figure it out. So hopefully, if nothing else, this maybe made some of you feel less alone, or
and
just
don't-
understand us better.
If you're a male, if you're a female, don't
Yeah.
feel bad if you don't want kids.
You're not defective. Nothing's wrong
There's
with
nothing
you.
wrong with you. It just may not be the life you want. And You may not like kids today, and then you wake up tomorrow and you want kids.
Again,
you know,
nothing wrong with
you
that.
kind of gotta follow your heart.
Right.
You really do. You gotta follow your heart and what you feel is best for you.
Yeah.
And what you can handle at that moment in time.
Great.
Now we're gonna go shoot a How I Work with Justice's High Prey Drive video. So make sure you guys subscribed. That way you see that, because that will be following this video a couple days after this is up. And until next time, Bruce Wayne, Joey Justice, Kara Corey, and myself. See you later. Peace.